What do you do?
I do a lot of things. After retiring from the European Parliament, several organizations have asked me to join them, to work for them. Political organizations dealing with migration, with stability and reconciliation in the Balkans, international relations. So I'm politically active without being a politician.
What drove you into this field?
Well, I think that, at least I feel it for myself, some sort of responsibility for improving the world, so to say, or at least to combat some negative trends. And refugee issue, migration issue is an important issue. It's, for some see it just as a danger, some see it as an opportunity. But at least we have to deal with it to make it feasible and compatible with the development of our society. And I got the big opportunity of education, of training, of a job, which was very interesting for me. So I have to give back something to society. At least that's my personal responsibility as I feel it.
What is your greatest source of energy?
I would say my greatest source, of course, is to live a relatively comfortable and happy life. And all I got from friends, friends with whom I was working, friends with whom I'm just talking and making holidays. I think these personal contacts, this is, I think, my biggest source of energy.
What was your most impressive childhood experience?
Well, on the one hand, a negative experience, the death of my father relatively early, when I was about 14. And many other enjoyments I had still in my early childhood, when I was living with my family in a big house, or a big garden, where I could, do all the plays, all the things I wanted to do. So it was an ample space of activities. But the most tragic, or in that sense, impressive element, when all of a sudden, from one day to another, my father died when I was 14.
What is the best advice you've received?
Not to be offended when something is going wrong or is not going according to my estimation or my expectations. Not to be overdone or overwhelmed by external events. Just go on what you want to do. Just go on in fulfilling the job or the task you feel you have to do. And not be angry because somebody is not supporting you, or somebody is maybe even working against you, or you cannot reach this position you wanted to reach. Just do your job, do your work. And that was given to me rather late, but it was very important for me, and I'm very happy I got that advice.
What brings us together?
I think personal relationships brings us together. If we, even if we have different opinions, different attitudes, different experiences, different backgrounds, families, whatever, cultural backgrounds, you have to see in the other, not the other whom I don't like, the other who has totally different ideas, but the person who has emotion, the person who suffers, the person who enjoys life. I think that's always very important, this personal relationship. And I had so many experiences in the Middle East, in poor countries, wherever, also in our relatively near neighborhood, where I saw that people are suffering because they are not respected. And I think this respect must be the basis of relationship, and that brings us together.
What is your strongest conviction?
I believe in most that history is going a bit in circles, but on the other hand, there is progress. There is progress possible. I would strongly reject any idea of it's all in vain, it doesn't matter what we do. No, the strong conviction that things can be changed, and everyone has his obligation, her obligation, in the family, in relation to their children, in relation to friends, to people you work with, to think about what can be improved. Improvement of terrible situation, I think that's my strong conviction. One has to restart even if there's a failure. And if there is a catastrophic situation, you have to restart again and not give up.
What is the most courageous decision you've made?
In relation to many other people, the courage I had to do was not very strong. The courage to go into politics and give up other possibilities where you get more money perhaps, or the courage to run for president of the Social Democratic Group in European Parliament, where I could fail, of course, and I could be defeated. In any way comparable to the courage many other people had to do who live in dictatorship, who have been imprisoned, who were fighting a fight of liberation. So I wouldn't say that in any way that's comparable to the courage I had to take from time to time.
What does home mean to you?
Basically, it means that at home you have people with whom you can talk, with whom you can have joint adventures or joint undertakings, or with whom you can have some understanding and where you feel some personal relationships important.
What would you like to achieve in this lifetime?
Well, in the coming years, for me, it is important to be one of a small element of the people who are not accepting what is going on now, future nationalism, racism even. This is developing in many countries, in my own country in Austria, but in many other countries. But this is something I cannot detest, I cannot accept. So we have to fight against it. And if people at the end of my life would say, well, he had some determination to express his convictions, to fight against these negative trends, and to have an orientation not on utopia as such, but on trying to improve his environment, to help people who were in need. I think that's something I think I would like to see if that would happen.
Who are you?
I think one never knows who one is, because one is not one person, one is many, many persons. For me, this strange combination of being publicly active and having a strong private life and orientation, I think that defines me for myself very much. I would say that's the major elements which I would say define my life and my activities.
What's your name? And if you know, what does it mean?
Well, my name is Hannes Swoboda, and Swoboda is a Slavic name, and it means freedom. So I always say at least my name is a good one. I'm very proud of it, of course. I'm not in any way responsible for my name, but I'm very proud that it expresses something which is very, very valuable for me. I could not imagine to live in conditions where some basic freedoms and liberties could not be expressed. So, yes, maybe it was the name when I got the information about it when I was a young child. Maybe my name even gave me some orientation and some direction. Finally, I think it's a good direction.